The stars above the alien capital shimmered like cold jewels, their light refracted against the metallic spires that reached higher than any city on Earth. To the human delegation, the sight was breathtaking, an affirmation that humanity had finally arrived in the halls of interstellar power. Yet to Earth's appointed diplomat, the glittering skyline only deepened the knot in his stomach. The Empire did not build beauty without purpose. Everything here was meant to remind lesser species of their insignificance. He adjusted his suit, an earth-cut garment tailored to appear both practical and dignified, the kind of clothing designed to communicate restraint. The alien guards that escorted him to the promenade clanked with ceremonial armor, their insectoid forms towering, plated in gold. Spectators hissed on the sidewalks, their mandibles clicking in open disdain. The human was not welcome here, and he knew it. Still, he walked with a measured calm. Humanity's message had to be carried into this chamber, no matter the risks. The Galactic Council chamber stretched out before him like a cathedral to power. Thousands of species sat in concentric tiers, murmurs rising like a storm at his entrance. He was Earth's first high-level emissary to the Empire itself, sent to prove that humans can negotiate on equal terms with the galaxy's oldest rulers. The silence that followed his introduction was sharp, mocking. He began with respect. He spoke of Earth's willingness to trade, of humanity's advancements in medicine, agriculture, and starship engineering. He presented models of joint ventures, of colonies where alien and human might cooperate. And then his voice hardened. We do not come to kneel. Humanity is patient, but not weak. We are slow to anger, but once angered, we do not relent. The remark drew laughter. Alien voices rasped, chittered, and boomed in overlapping derision. The Empire's grand speaker leaned forward, his crown of bone glinting under the chamber's light. A species of primitives dares to lecture us on strength? You live on a single, fragile world. Do not mistake your spark for flame. The diplomat didn't flinch. One spark is enough to start a fire that consumes an empire. The council dissolved into outrage. The humans were escorted out shortly after, their petitions ignored. Only the diplomat remained behind, summoned to a private audience with the Empire's adjudicators. His staff protested, but guards bristling with weapons quickly separated them. The trap had been set the moment he landed on this world. He was paraded through the capital streets that evening, wrists bound in glowing restraints. A fabricated indictment scrolled across enormous hollow screens. Espionage, treason, incitement of rebellion. The crowd howled its approval. They saw not a diplomat, but an enemy to be humiliated and destroyed. When the sentence was declared, execution by pyre, many believed it a theatrical threat. The galaxy was brutal, yes, but rarely so brazen. Yet by dusk, in the city's grand plaza, the pyre was raised, not of wood, but of crackling energy columns, designed to disintegrate flesh slowly and painfully. The diplomat was strapped to its center, as if he were some archaic heretic awaiting medieval punishment. Billions watched. The execution was broadcast across known space. Earth, her colonies, even distant mining outposts, all saw their representative bound, weakened, and condemned. The Empire's speaker addressed the crowd. Let this be the lesson of humanity. They speak of fire. We show them fire. This is what comes of insolence before the Empire. The pyre ignited. The diplomat did not scream at first. His jaw clenched as heat licked his body, searing through the fabric of his suit. His skin blistered under the ruthless glare of alien technology, but his eyes stayed fixed on the holocameras. When at last he could speak, his words were hoarse, torn from the edge of agony. You think this ends me? This begins humanity. His body broke long, before his will did. His final breath was ragged, but his stare remained unbowed. The crowd cheered, a tide of alien voices rising into the night, exulting in the spectacle. Back on Earth, silence fell across living rooms, government halls, and military stations. Mothers pulled children close. Soldiers clenched their fists. Statesmen, who only days before argued about trade tariffs and border disputes, now stared at the screen with the same hardened fury. Within hours, the United Earth Assembly convened an emergency session. For the first time in history, no delegate dissented. Every nation, every colony, every outpost swore allegiance to the same cause. The vote was unanimous. A message was drafted and broadcast not only to the Empire, but to every listening civilization in the galaxy. You burned our diplomat alive. You laughed at his death. For this you will pay. We did not choose this war, but we will end it. Let all who watch know. Humanity remembers. Humanity answers. The chamber erupted in silence after the recording ended. There was no applause, no cheering, no speeches of patriotism, only grim acceptance. Across the world, shipyards flickered to life, dormant war machines stirred, and forges began hammering out weapons of war. The Empire thought they had silenced humanity with fire. In truth, they had lit the match. The sky above Earth's shipyards glowed with firelight, but not from destruction, from creation. Factories thundered day and night, birthing warships at a pace unseen in human history. The orbital dry docks stretched for miles, swarmed with engineers in exosuits welding hulls and mounting weaponry. Entire cities retooled themselves into foundries of vengeance. The execution of Earth's diplomat had done what centuries of political maneuvering never achieved. It had united humanity under a single purpose. From the colonies came volunteers by the millions. Miners from the Belt, farmers from Titan's domes, mechanics from Mars. Each left their livelihoods behind to don uniforms and stand beneath a single flag. They were not warriors by birth, but each carried the same fire in their eyes, a fire stoked by the sight of their emissary burned alive for the amusement of an empire. The oath they swore was not to conquest, but to justice. We do not start wars. We end them. The mobilization shocked the galaxy. Other species had long viewed humanity as a backwater civilization, too fractured to present a real threat. Yet within weeks, human fleets materialized in numbers that rivaled established empires. The Council dismissed it as desperation, until the first strike came. It began at Varix, a supply world that fed half of the Empire's frontier fleets. Sensors had detected no incoming armada, no conventional approach. Yet one morning the skies over Varix erupted with fire as stealth cruisers decloaked in low orbit. In less than an hour, orbital defenses were fried by electromagnetic pulses. Supply depots crumbled under precision rail strikes, and communication networks dissolved into static. By the time the Empire's garrison mobilized, the humans were gone, leaving behind only ash and silence. The council chambers erupted in disbelief. Impossible, alien admirals hissed. Humans lacked the resources, the experience. But reports poured in. Another depot gone, a relay station crippled, a fleet yard crippled with sabotage. Each strike was surgical, devastating, and calculated not for terror, but efficiency. Humanity did not waste effort. Every blow cut directly at the arteries of the Empire's war machine. The Empire roared back with pride wounded and fleets mobilized. Hundreds of warships surged toward human-held space, their commanders sneering at the thought of ending the upstart primates quickly. But the battles that followed shredded their confidence. At the first clash, the Empire's fleet moved in rigid formations, accustomed to predictable wars fought with honor and protocol. The humans had no such traditions. They fought like predators in the wild. Their ships darted into asteroid fields, weaving through debris where massive dreadnoughts could not follow. They feigned retreats, luring squadrons into ambushes where swarms of missile frigates ripped through their hulls. When outnumbered, they turned entire moons into traps, detonating fusion mines that swallowed enemy fleets in blinding infernos. Alien commanders spoke of madness. Human captains willingly sacrificed their own ships to cripple enemy flagships, ramming engines into reactors, igniting plasma fires that consumed both friend and foe. Yet this was no recklessness. It was calculation. For every human vessel destroyed, 3 of the empires were dragged down with it. Word spread quickly across the galaxy. Humanity had no hesitation, no restraint, and no fear of sacrifice. Weeks bled into months, and the Empire faltered. Its fleets, designed for domination of weaker neighbors, could not adapt to an enemy that struck unpredictably and refused to be cowed. Trade collapsed, outlying colonies rebelled, and allies whispered doubts. What was once a proud dominion of countless worlds now found itself on the defensive against a single species barely a century into interstellar flight. Then came the moment that broke the galaxy's silence. Humanity launched its largest assault yet, directly into the capital sector of the Empire. No longer were strikes limited to supply lines or frontier worlds. Entire armadas surged forward, coordinated with precision that stunned even veteran tacticians. Orbital bombardments lit the skies above the Empire's heart worlds, searing through defense grids and military hubs. Towers that once broadcast the Empire's pride now crumbled into ruin under the thunder of kinetic strikes. As the Empire's capital trembled, a transmission flooded every comms channel in the galaxy. The feed was grim, unembellished, and impossible to ignore. A human admiral, his uniform scorched from battle, stared into the lens. "You burned one man alive," he said. His voice was steel, sharpened on grief. "You laughed at his death. For this, we will burn your fleets, your worlds, your pride. We warned you that humanity is slow to anger. Now you will learn what it means when that anger is roused. Let this stand as a promise to all who hear, never again." Behind him, alien cities burned in the distance, their night skies lit with the fury of retribution. The Empire collapsed within weeks. Its fleets scattered, its worlds fractured into rebellion, its rulers fled into exile. Humanity did not slaughter them to the last, though they could have. Instead, they left survivors, scattered and broken, forced to live with the humiliation of their downfall. Those survivors became unwilling heralds, carrying the same tale to every corner of the galaxy. The humans are not to be provoked. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council convened once more. Where once the human diplomat had been mocked and silenced, now human representatives entered the chamber to silence, so profound it echoed. Not respect, not yet, but fear. Every delegate had seen the broadcast, had witnessed the flames over the Empire's capital. Every delegate understood that beneath humanity's diplomacy lay an iron law: harm one of ours, and you invite annihilation. Earth's leader rose to speak, calm but unyielding. "We did not seek war. We did not seek conquest, but you forced our hand. Let it be known, humanity does not forget, and humanity does not forgive. Harm one of ours again, and there will be no survivors." No one laughed this time. Ships returned home bloodied but unbroken, welcomed not with parades but with silent, somber pride. The people of Earth knew the cost of what they had done, yet they also knew this truth: their diplomat's death had not been in vain. From his ashes had risen a fire that reshaped the galaxy. And so humanity took its place not as prey, not as novelty, but as a power that none could dismiss. A power born not of conquest, but the simple, terrible promise carried on the diplomat's last breath: "This begins humanity.